lag här, va? Då var vi på arena, va?
Nu kör vi!
Finalen. Får se vad som händer.
Ja!
Yeah!
Nu blir det riktigt fett. Det var låt.
Typ som Amerika. Förstår det var så. Nu bara att gå på G eller?
Ladies and gentlemen, David Pecker, Chairman, President, and CEO of American Media.
Good evening and welcome to the 2014
Gold, everybody. Gold because we are celebrating Joe Weider's 50th Olympia this year. As you heard from David Pecker, to open the show. Folks, we've got a great show lined up for you here today. 50 years in the making, and we've got all kinds of surprises lined up for you. Folks, this started off in 1965, A Dream by Joe Weider. As you saw in the video montage, lots of great champions over those years. A third prize money, first of $1,000 and a crown given to its winner, Larry Scott, this year over $1 million. And we'll find out if Phil Heath can make it 4 in a row. Do I hear boos out there? We'll take a slight poll as we get things going here. If you don't like the chant, I'm sure everybody's got their favorites here. That's what the Olympia is all about, because I'm sure there's a good amount of people here who'll be rooting on Kai Green. You're not a fan of the Predator, perhaps you like the Wolf, Dennis Wolf. Or the Blade, Dexter Jackson. For those that were here at the pre-judging yesterday, you saw a great competition here. Another name to add to that list, Flexitron Sean Roden in the mix. And perhaps the best Texas Titan we've seen in some years, Branch Warren is in the house. Well, folks, for those that are lucky enough to be here, you'll see a sold-out auditorium, standing room only here tonight. For those who couldn't make the trip here to Las Vegas, I'd like to welcome everybody watching worldwide on bodybuilding.com. Of course, they're providing another free webcast for everybody, their 10th year at that. And our good friends Dan Farah and Larry Pepe calling the action for them. So they'll be on all night giving regular updates and showcasing what we do to the world. And for the first time in 30 years, NBC Sports is covering the Olympia weekend in its entirety. I think first time in 30 years is worth some applause, folks. And we get a chance to showcase to the world just what we're all about, what the Olympia is about, what the tradition of the Olympia and the house that Joe built. So we'd like to welcome NBC to the mix, calling the action for them. Our editor-at-large at Muscle and Fitness, Sean Perrine, and WWE superstar Triple H. Former Mr. Olympia. Please welcome Franco Colombo. Two-time Mr. Olympia, the Sardinian strongman, Franco Colombo. Another champion in attendance, no stranger to the Olympia stage. He is simply a four-time Olympian, the house that Jay built, Jay Cutler. And the champs keep rolling. Jay Cutler, a four-time champion. Our next guest, an eight-time champion, Ronnie Coleman. For those that don't know, Ronnie doing quite well. No, he's not just walking like he's cool. Ronnie's got two new hips he just got a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, speaking of eight-time Olympia champs, who else but one of the greatest of all time, Lee Haney.
Wait, baby.
Folks, we've got a whole bunch of Olympia titles here, but I can't help but thinking that we're missing somebody.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I know, that would be nice, but unfortunately all we have is the seven-time Mr. Olympia, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the champs keep rolling up. Please welcome Samir Banut.
Han är alldeles. Jag vet inte tänka mig. Det är den utländska som har någon mustaschen på råden. Ja, han ja, visst.
Samir wants a pose down. Ladies As you can see, folks, Olympia history here in the making. What better to honor the great Joe Weider than the collection of champions on the stage today?
And I'm sure that Joe Weider is right now smiling down from heaven. And we want to say thank you to Joe Weider and to Betty Weider. Where's Betty Weider? She must be sitting here somewhere in the front row. She's in the back? No, she's in the back. Betty, coming out here.
Oh, there's Betty Weider right here.
Yes, she is. Remember the photographs? Those who are old enough? They remember the photographs 45 years ago when Betty was sitting on my arm? And when her waist size was 20 inches and my arms were 21 and a half inches. And it was the hottest selling cover, may I remind you. Not because of me, but because of Betty, of course. But Betty, before you came out, I just wanted to say thank you to Joe and thank you to you, because I know that it was also your input that created the Mr. Olympia competition in 1965. And I remember when I was a bodybuilder climbing up that ladder, and my goal was to win Mr. Universe, just like Reg Park, and to win Mr. World, and Mr. Europe, and Mr. International. And then all of a sudden I saw this picture of Larry Scott with a crown on top of his head, smiling, and it was announced this was the best bodybuilding champion, the champion of all the champions. That you had to be a Mr. Universe to enter the Mr. Olympia, you had to be a Mr. World, a world champion. And so my ladder kept climbing, and I kept climbing and climbing and climbing. After winning 5 Mr. Universes, Mr. World, Mr. International, all those titles, I had to now tackle this new challenge to beat Sergio Oliva and to win the Mr. Olympia competition. And let me tell you something, I won that competition 7 times. It is such a great honor that they stand here with all those great champions that they've won after me. Many of them, actually 2 of them have beaten my record. I won 7 times. Those 2 guys over here won it 8 times. Great for you. So now we have together here, I think 33 or 34 Mr. Olympia titles right here on stage. And let me tell you that to me it was not only an honor to win it 7 times, but then afterwards to be the producer and the promoter of the Mr. Olympia competition in Columbus, Ohio for 5 years. And to get the cash prizes from $1,000 to $100,000. We gave away $100,000 in 1981 at the Mr. Olympia, and of course today, because of the continuous promotion of such great promoters as David Pecker, who is now in organizing this competition, has been doing a great job to carry the torch for Joe Weider. And now it is over $1 million, the cash prize today, over $1 million. And so, as I always say, that bodybuilding is the greatest sport in the world. Yeah! And I always say that I am only here today and had all the success that I've had because of 2 things. One is because I came to the greatest country in the world, to the land of opportunity, to the United States of America.
Yeah, that's fun.
And number 2, because I became a bodybuilder. Because it was through that sport where I have learned discipline, about camaraderie, about inclusion and being tolerant, about being able to say no to the drugs, the gangs, and the violence, and all the kind of things that's out there sometimes. And to say yes to victory, yes to life. To say so many things that I've learned from sports and from bodybuilding is extraordinary. And now, of course, I just want to tell you that the Mr. Olympia competition is not just about picking the best bodybuilder in the world, but to also at the same time take on us, the Mr. Olympia, the responsibility to be on that crusade and to fight and to continue to promote the sport of bodybuilding and to promote fitness. This is what this is all about. We all have to work together to continue inspiring people, not only the professionals, not only the amateurs, but the little guy that maybe weighs 80 pounds, maybe the woman that weighs 300 pounds, to inspire all of them from all walks of life to train every day and to get fit and healthy, just like we feel. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you.
That Arnold he had many professions. One of them, he became a bricklayer when he came to the United States. because we got $1,000 from Mr. Olympia to lay bricks and make a little more money to buy food. So we went from there to they're making $1 million. They don't have to do bricklaying. But anyway, so I don't want to say much, but I'm so happy to be here. And bodybuilding lives, more popular, international, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Say hi.
Hello, everybody. Well, let's put it this way. The reason I came here because of this guy. Because Arnold. I picked up the first cover, but not Frank. Actually, Arnold was talking about those ads on the beach with Betty, and really, Joe was so creative. Joe Weider is the most creative guy in the business, and there's nobody can touch him. Up till now, nobody can really replace Joe Weider. When I picked up the first magazine, Muscle Builder Power, that was 1970, maybe 71, 72, Arnold was on the cover with two beautiful ladies, boobs sticking out, everything. But Arnold looked so damn full, and that's it. I had to buy the magazine. I was gonna go watch the movie, The Good, The Bad, The Ugly. But once I saw that picture of Arnold, I said, forget it. I had to check the magazine out. And it was Joe Weider creativity that got me into the sport. That's the truth. And Betty, and Draper, and Franco, okay. Franco. So, Joe Weider, rest in peace. We love you. We owe him everything. And there will never be another Joe Weider.
Betty, it is so wonderful to see you here. Could you maybe just say hello to the audience?
Hi. I'm not up to speaking too much tonight. I never am, but I have a new pact of wisdom too, and it makes me stutter. But anyway, I'm so happy that you're here, and it's special. I know Joe's looking down at us. Thank you.
I want you to say something, and you to say something, and you to say something. I mean, this great champions. I just told you, don't ever stand next to me, okay? Because your shoulders are too wide for me.
It gives me a great honor to be able to stand up here, not only with the greatest champions, but of course, 50 years, Mr. Olympia. I mean, Joe Weider was a huge inspiration for me. He was the reason that I continued to be a bodybuilder, and of course, the amazing thing with Joe, he had the eye for, you know, who had the talent. And I remember walking in his office for the first time at 22 years old, and he took one look at me and, you know, fully clothed, and he said, "I want to shoot you on the cover." You probably do it better, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
What's wrong with the guy, eh? Those bodybuilders. Bastards, eh? They're so lazy. I'm going to tell this to my brother Ben.
Hang on a second. Betty, is that pretty good?
Pretty good.
I think that's part of the thing about being Mr. Olympia. You get to practice Joe Weider more, right, Arnold? Of course, a lot of people practice you too, right?
Samir, do you do an Arnold imitation?
All right, so we'll leave it at that. But you know, Joe was just, you know, for all these athletes standing up here, and of course, he was an inspiration to so many, and the reason that we're standing up here today, and I just want to make sure that, you know, everyone that here realizes that we are all here because of Joe Weider. You know, we miss him very much, and you know, thank you guys for supporting bodybuilding and what we do, and thank you, Joe Weider, and of course, Betty.
Yeah, buddy. Wait, baby.
Well, I'm not going to talk as long as these guys did because my hip's about to go out any second now. Bob wasn't lying about me having surgery about 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm doing my best to stand here as long as I can before I just jump on Jay's back in a minute here. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I only want to thank two people, And the first person I want to thank is God, because everything I do is because of Him. And all praise to Him. And I'm nobody. I'm just nobody, basically. and the second person I want to thank is Joe Weider. I remember before I got into the sport of bodybuilding, some people said some good things about Joe, some people said some bad things. I'm like, what kind of guy is he? And I really found out what kind of guy he was when I was getting ready to win my first Miss Olympia. He came backstage and said, man, I'm gonna take y'all over the world, and you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna make a lot of money. But I found out he was one of the greatest guys in the world when he signed me to a 6-year contract. So I think Joe Weider is one of the greatest guys that ever lived, point blank. That's my word.
Well, first of all, I'm humbled to be here with all of these awesome champions, and I love Betty. Betty and Joe has had such a tremendous impact in my life. I never will forget when Joe first brought me to California. He said to me after the first visit, he said, Lee, is there a girl that you're crazy about? I said, yes, matter of fact, I am. He said, well, I tell you what. He said, it's very important for young men to have stability in their life. He said, family is very important. He said, so I tell you what, you bring this young lady with you to California, as I put you on a contract, I'll make sure that she's taking care of you. So Joe was one of the incentives for me to get married. So I've been married now for 31 years. And Joe and Betty has invited us to their home. I've had dinner with them. And let me tell you one other story, because the humility of Joe and what he meant to so many people is just astounding. I never will forget, one day Joe had invited me out to lunch. And we're finishing up, getting ready to leave, and all of a sudden, both my legs cramped in the restaurant. I'm standing there, couldn't move an inch. Joe stopped everything he was doing, got down on his knees, and massaged both of my legs in front of everybody in the restaurant. I was so embarrassed, but at the same time, I was so humble. I said, how is it Joe Weider's doing this to me, who's like, you know, I guess one of his kids. That's who all of us are and were in Joe's sight. I'll always love Joe and appreciate everything that he's done in my life and in the lives of all of us who are here to enjoy this awesome event. God bless you and thank you.
Well, obviously this is pretty tough to the top, obviously, the Olympians, obviously, the moment that we're here at the 50th and celebrating Joe's commitment, obviously, to bodybuilding. But Arnold, I can't have the last word with you standing here, so I have to ask you, can we count on you coming back to the Olympia stage?
I love watching the Olympia. I think that it is, right along with the Arnold Classic, the top bodybuilding championships. And, the day that we are celebrating the 50th Mr. Olympia just shows you of how popular it is, and it's televised, and look at it, it's a packed house. There's more sponsors involved and more bodybuilders involved on the stage now and competing in this. It's really fantastic. I mean, to really watch this competition grow to what it is today. And like I said, we have to go and say thank you to David Pecker for, him and his team that have organized, they've done such an extraordinary job in putting this together, because I know as a producer of the Arnold Classic that Jim Laurel and I, we worked throughout the whole year tirelessly to make this a great competition. I know the same is the case here. So congratulations to the Mr. Olympia, congratulations to 50 years of Mr. Olympia, and again, thank you very much to Joe Weider and to Betty Weider for having created the Mr. Olympia. Thank you very much.
But Arnold, the question still remains, will you be back?
I'll be back.
How's that for an opening, folks? Anybody want to see you pose now? All right, folks, so normally right about this time. Thank you, Aaron.
feasted on the raw power of the beast to fuel his primordial need for mass and power. Ultimate nutrition has engineered the future of meat-based sports supplementation. With carbolic, 424 grams of unapologetic, no guts, no glory beef protein isolate. Pound for pound, carbolic has over 3.5 times as much protein as raw red meat. Get your claws on carbolic, only from Ultimate Nutrition.
What does it mean to be fit?